NDEers have a kind of a homesickness. They have seen this wonderful environment with so much love, and they can't find it here. The colors, the music, the sense, everything there is much nicer. It's more real than here. So why would you want to stay here? We want to go back again. That's the idea.
Are we given a task or a purpose when we come to Earth? Robert Coppes has studied NDEs for decades and has lectured on this topic in the US and Europe. He considers his latest book, Impressions of Near-Death Experiences, his best book on NDEs because of the wealth of quotes from experiencers. In his opinion, the best tutors in life. Enjoy this interview with Robert Coppes. Robert, what similarities have you found between the different near-death experiences that you've studied?
Yeah, that's about the similarities there. You know, NDEs can be very different because not one NDE is the same as another. Um, but there are similarities. And the most striking similarities for me are the unconditional love that so many people mention during their NDE. That is typically something that people always mention, unconditional love. And then even that word or those two words do not cover what it really is. So there are people that say it is more than that. It's not to be found on earth. The other thing that I found very interesting and that I found in many more NDEs is something that I found while composing or putting together my latest book. And I tried to look at a lot of quotes of NDEers, and it struck me that the calling or mentioning that we are closely connected to each other is something that is over and over again is said by so many people. And it's not only that, it's sometimes more than that. Some people say it's not only a close connection between each other and nature, because nature is also very important, animals, but it's more than that. It can be like we are all one. There are a lot of quotes that indicate that we are actually one big whole. And some even say this oneness, that's the source, or that is God. We are all together, we are God. There's divinity in each and every one of us and in animals. So I would say these two would be the most striking features that you would find often in NDEs.
Mhm. I've heard you speak about that concept about us all being one and how to keep that in mind because what we're doing to someone else, we're actually doing to ourselves. And that we'll feel that after we've passed. Can you speak on that a little bit more?
Yes, yeah, that's something that is striking for the people who have had such an experience, and I'm talking especially about the life review. So within an NDE, some people do have a life review, and again, not one NDE is the same as another. They are all different. That's strange, but it's interesting. The thing that makes them an NDE is that they talk about this otherworldly environment that they were in. So something that is not the same as Earth. It is different from Earth. And the life review is one part of an NDE that many people, but not all people, have. And in a life review, you really see what you did throughout your life. It is what it is, a life review. So you can zoom in to specific moments, but you can also look at it from a big perspective. And the most important thing from a life review is that you see what you did to others as if you are the other. as you will become the other, the one that you acted with. So the receiver of your actions, you'll become that receiver, and you will feel exactly what the receiver has felt. So all the emotions, everything. So be it nice or be it not so nice, and that's something. Yeah, you need to really uh, try to understand what that means, because it means actually that there is no separation between you and someone else, between me and you, because I would be able to feel what you go through once I'm dead. When I'm passing away, then I will be able to feel whatever anyone else felt. So that is something that is also a life changer for people who've had such an experience, because you feel what the other felt. It's very empathetic. It's even more than that. So it makes them think twice again before they do something else to someone.
This sounds a lot like past life regression, which I learned about 10 years ago. And I remember being so excited learning that you could have this done and you could, experience or relive all these different moments of past lives and see who you were and what you did. And my excitement was quickly shut down by the person I was discussing it with, because they said that it doesn't serve any purpose really for this life and that it can be just very painful. And so I never really looked into it too much since then, but it's always really piqued my curiosity. Would a life review be similar to that of a past life regression?
It's interesting what you say. It's with a past life regression, you will, I suppose, feel what you have felt in another lifetime, in a previous lifetime, in your previous lives. Um, that is in itself very interesting, because apparently you can feel what you did then and what your emotions were then. And sometimes you carry those emotions back to this life, and you have to work it out here. But that is an emotion of someone else at some other time, whereas with a life review, you will feel the emotions of the people that you acted with. So if you did something, let me give you an example. There was a woman in the Netherlands who uh, was a child when this happened, but she had her NDE later on in her life. And what she saw during her NDE later in her life was a life review. And in life review, she could see what she did as a school child. And as a school child, she had um, given shared some sweets with other school friends in a period in the Netherlands where we were not very wealthy. So that was a kind of a luxury good. And she felt the feelings of her friend, her school friend, who lived with her at the same time. And that makes it different from a past life regression, because that's a previous time. So this is, you feel what someone else felt, as if you are that other, but at the same time you are yourself. So you have two points of view. And the interesting thing was that she also saw that it didn't stick only to the school friend who felt so happy at the time, but there was a kind of ripple effect that went also to the mother and beyond that. And that is something you often hear from NDEs. There is a ripple effect that goes beyond this, what you feel here.
Yes, the butterfly effect.
Yeah, yeah, it's something like that. Yes. Um,
Can you, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was thinking with a butterfly, the idea is that a butterfly here will cause a storm somewhere else. But this is just an idea. The ripple effect is something that people don't really cannot really explain what it means, but it means that if you do something nice here, something loving, it will spread uh, and in a way that you won't be able to see how that is. Similarly, with something that draws away love, something what we would call here on earth some bad things. On the other side, there are no, the words bad and good just fall away. It has no meaning there. But suppose you do something that has little love or draws away love, then that also spreads in a way that we can't really explain. But that is what they say, what NDEs say.
Okay, draws away love, like you don't, like it stops at you. Maybe someone tries to spread love in your direction somehow and you don't pass that on.
Well, it's like if you do something um, that is not so loving, then it freezes. It freezes around. Whereas if you do something nice and something loving, it spreads warmth, it spreads energy. It's something like that. It gives good energy, good vibes if you do something loving. If you do something hateful, then it freezes. It draws away energy. It lowers the frequency. It is not very nice for, and it spreads. So where you are, you might not see it, but it goes elsewhere. The mechanism, I don't know how that works, but it seems to be caused by the fact that we are one. That there is, you can liken it to perhaps if you throw a stone into a pond of water, so a little lake or a pond, the shock waves will go throughout the whole body of the water. So not only the waves or the circles on top of it on the surface, but also there will be shock wave down under it. So the whole water body will feel it. There is an effect everywhere. So that's the same way as I picture how this works, how this mechanism works. But how it really works, I don't know. No one can really tell you.
That's a great visual. What about the energy coming back to you? So more like a karmic understanding. Does that also happen?
You mean the energy that comes back from you from others that do something for you or against you?
Yes, so like karma. So if you
Oh, karma.
mhm. Is
Okay,
that
I didn't get
something
that
that,
word.
yeah, is that
Yeah,
something that
karma is something that is in Buddhism and in Hinduism. It seems that there is the idea is that if you do something on during your life, it will stick with you, and it will play out in your next life. You will get it back. So, be it something nice, you will get it back in the future in your new life. If it's something bad you did or something hateful, then you will also get that back in your next life. In this way, it is. I think it's a little bit different because it is karma is something that reflects on yourself. That is the idea. So it comes back to you. Whereas if you do something that gives ripples elsewhere in the world, then it might stick or might land somewhere else where you are not. You won't feel it. You will never feel it. But there is an effect there. Uh, and since we are all part of this oneness, then in fact, the oneness or God or the source and also yourself, you will feel it. You will not be very happy with nasty things you did, and you will be very happy with the nice things you did because you will see how it plays out for other people or for nature, something like that. It's different from karma. Karma sticks for yourself, and this is for the whole thing, the whole oneness.
I'm going to be asking you some questions that are meant to be answered from your perspective, of course, after you've acquired the knowledge that you have from all of your studies of NDEs.
Okay.
Who is God?
God is a name that people gave to something in religions. God is in every religion, but I'd rather see the powerful something as the source or unity universe or the ultimate power, and that is what is everything. Everything together is this source. So we come from this source. You come from the source. I do. All your listeners do. We will go back to the source. And we in religions that is called God. But I see it as the oneness, and it's based on so many of the quotes that I found and that I put into my book.
Are we also the source? We come from the source and we're oneness. Does that make us the source as well?
Yes, yeah, we are part of the source. I see it like this. Maybe that helps a little bit. If suppose a little baby is born, there for me there is a kind of a vacancy there. It's something needs to go into the body. In some spirit needs to go in there, and there's only one. So that's the source. The source goes into the body of the little child, the baby, and grows to be an adult. And so there are 7 or 8 billion adults walking around, or children and adults at the moment. And we all think we are separate, but we are not. We are all of the same substance. We are all from the same origin. And eventually, when we die, we will also go back to this origin. And the ears say that typically. They say, there is a life after this, and we will go back to it. And there are also NDEs that really say we will eventually merge with this big source that is out there.
Can you use the words source and consciousness interchangeably?
Um, no, let me give you an example there, because I found a quote of someone who had her NDE. She left her body, and the first phase of her NDE, she said, it was wonderful because I didn't have my body, this structure, this awful structure that I was in. I was liberated. I was free. There was no anxiety, was no pain, no fear, nothing. And it felt wonderful to just drop the body. So she said, then there was my consciousness. This consciousness was there. It continued being there. And then she said, but the consciousness, I realized that I, I would leave that also, because I would merge with the oneness, with the source. I think she mentioned the word source. So then you will drop your consciousness and merge with what we call, that's what her words are, and merge what we call the Godhead. So the God, we merge into the God. That's what she said. And I thought that was very interesting to say, because it implied that we all will also lose our consciousness. And that made me think that, in fact, our consciousness, what we think is our consciousness, is a kind of role we play. I play this role of Bob here in Amsterdam, living here, doing all kinds of stuff, writing a book, doing all kinds of other things. And then when I die, I step off the stage, and I will not need to do my role anymore. I will become who I really am. So on a stage, an actor plays something in this thing on stage. When he goes home, he steps off the stage and be himself again. He is not the character on stage and goes back home as that character. No, he drops that. That's the same way I think we will drop our role. My role is Bob. I will drop that, and the only thing that will continue is my essence, and my essence is divine. And I'm not only talking about my essence being divine, but yours as well. It's everyone's essence is divine. And that's where we will merge with this oneness.
Mm. The woman, you said that she let go of consciousness and became part of source. Tell me if this would be accurate to say as well, that we let go of awareness and that we become love.
Yeah, I think that's also how you can say it. Um, the words come in the way. They are in the way. And the ears say, they cannot explain what they have gone through, what their experience is. They put words on it because that's the only way to uh, convey the message. But they say the words are not adequate to give the feeling. And love, that is another thing that many NDEs say. Love is the essence. That's the only important thing. It's something that everything seems to be made out of. So if you rephrase that when we die we become love again, I think that's the case because love is the only thing there. Quite right.
So then it would probably be wise for us while we're on earth to attempt to let go of everything that is not love.
Yeah, but that's difficult. Look around.
That's for another episode.
Yeah. No, but that's the thing is some other NDErs said that a God or the source is limitless. There's nothing it cannot do. It is wonderful on the other side. There's only love there. So in a way, it's kind of dull. It's nice, but it's dull. And in order to feel what it is to be in a limited environment and try to express love, uh, our universe was created. That's how some of the NDEs tell it. They say it like that. And that is what we are doing here. We decided for ourselves to be part of this limited environment and see how that works. See how we can express our divinity here. And that's difficult because we need to go find food. We need to, and then when we develop, we need a car. We need to fly here. We need to find that. We want to be rich. We want to be powerful and all that kind of stuff. But that takes away from the essence, what we all are. We are all, in essence, the divine, just playing a role, doing all kinds of stuff, and not always very loving. But that's another thing. In life reviews, people see their life and they see also the nasty things they do. There's no judgment. That is another thing that is so wonderful of NDEs because there is no judgment. Why would there be a need of a judgment if this is all just for experiencing how it is to be in a limited environment? We will make mistakes, and there's nothing wrong with it because eventually we all will be in this wonderful place, which is more real than where we are now. That's another thing that NDErs say. This world where we are sitting, looking at the screen, sitting on a chair, we feel that this is real, but that's not real. NDErs say the other side is much more real than this.
If there's no judgment, where do we go? Does that mean that there's no heaven or hell?
Yes, there is. I think there's only heaven because that's the place where this unconditional love is. I don't believe there is a hell. Um, and I say that because there are also NDErs who have explicitly heard that there is no hell and no purgatory. And another NDER heard explicitly told to him that we all go home. And home is not here, but it's on the other side where we originate from. That's our home.
Mm.
So I don't believe there's a hell. No.
So the people who decide to, engage in acts that are very, the people who murder and rape and do things like this, they're not judged, they are their only judge. And then I'm assuming you touched on this earlier, maybe they experience the other side of that in their next life.
Yeah, this is how I understand it from NDEs, from looking at so many NDEs. One thing, there is no judgment. We are all met with unconditional love. Also, people that do horrific things, and we all can mention extremes in that respect. Uh, the other thing is that we all probably will have some kind of life review. We will see how it is, what we did throughout our lives, and we will see it with different eyes, because on the other side we are divine, and we look at our role that we played here. And I can tell you, there people who have seen their life review and have seen the nasty or the bad things they did here on Earth, they are not very happy with what they've seen. To tell you a story, there's a guy who killed multiple people because he worked for an American organization that went abroad to kill off adversaries of the U.S. government. He did it for an organization, an agency. I don't know which one. He didn't mention that one, but he said, I killed a lot of people. And during my life review, the rest of his NDE was wonderful, blissful. But in his life review, he saw every kill. He felt the lives of the people that he killed. He also felt the lives of the people that were left behind. So the the murdered person left behind a wife and children. So he felt what they went through to be without their father or without their husband, and what that was. So you will be able to feel it from the other side. You are the other side. You are the wife of one of those guys that you killed yourself. So what do you make out of that? I think that's painful. So my idea is that life is a zero-sum game. If you think you can do something to someone else and just walk away, not feeling anything, you're wrong, because you will be able to feel the other side. So it's this kind of zero-sum game. So do nice things, but that too is a zero-sum game because you will feel the other side as well.
Yeah. Are we
Yeah, I
assigned?
understand that this is a difficult thing to think about, but I can only say what NDEers say, and that is there's no judgment, and you will feel what the receiver felt as if you are the receiver in all the details with all the emotions.
Yeah, to go a little bit deeper on it, then I think of, okay, well, if we experience the other side after we've done, something that is not nice or that even that is horrific.
Yeah.
Let's say all the women that are on the planet right now that have been raped, that they were the rapist in the past life. And that would be, hard for a lot of people to hear, I'm sure. But that could be part of this experience.
Yeah, but in this case, you bring into the discussion past lives. That I those ideas or that theory I know. So it means that if you have been raped now, maybe you were a rapist in your previous lives. What I understand from Andy is that with life reviews, that's not necessary because you will feel what you do to another. you don't have to have a next life. So no karma sticks to you in that sense, because you can feel what it is during your life review. So you will have, during your life review, you'll have multiple lives to live, because you live all the lives of all the people you acted with. So also, if you've been raped, you will feel what the rapist did, or when you are the rapist, you will feel what your victim felt or
I see.
feels.
I see.
Yeah.
Are some of us old souls and some of us young souls? Maybe some of us have lived a dozen lives and some of us have lived thousands. Do we see
Uh,
in a near-death experience? Do we learn any of that?
you know, what I understood from other kind of research done on in this field is that the percentage of people of NDEers that believe that we have that there is reincarnation is the same as in the general public. So it means that it doesn't really show that from end years that there is reincarnation or that it's true. But at the same time, there are end years that believe in reincarnation. But at the same time, there are also end years that don't feel anything about that. And you know, the reincarnation bit is a theory that we cannot really um, prove it that it's true. That's why for NDEs I stick with the main principles, and that is unconditional love, and that we are closely connected to each other. Now, coming back to reincarnation again, you know, I told you before that I believe that we are one. There's a oneness. There's a source that we come from. It means that the source leads all the lives there were, every human life, but also every animal life or any plant life. It is something that it's difficult to wrap your head around, but if there's only one, then that one leads everyone's life. So there is no need to do reincarnation, because all the lives there are at this moment too, the source leads everyone's lives. In the future also, in the past as well. So reincarnation is maybe something that we might have to look at a different way. And maybe there are souls that reincarnate, but maybe there are other souls that just go here for one time and then are done, because the experiences that that soul had are in any case the experience of the source. It goes into this big vault or whatever. All the experiences are there, and those are the experiences that the one or the source had. uh, One NDER said, we don't reincarnate, God reincarnates. And I thought that was interesting perspective. I don't say that I have the answer here. I don't know. um, I always say, if someone really says that they know exactly how it works on the other side, then just run away, because I don't believe that anyone can.
Are we given a task or a purpose when we come to Earth?
Yes, it seems so. There are a lot of NDEs that say we all have a reason to be here. No one is here without a reason. You wouldn't be here without a reason. If you don't have a reason to be here, you're gone. Yes, and the task. Yes, there's something like we all have something to do. NDErs sometimes are being sent back again to Earth because their life is not ready. They have things to do. And then sometimes they are shown what that is. But when they're back in their body, they totally forgot that. That's something that I found interesting. I have never spoken to an NDER who said, they told me what my task was, And I know still what it is. No, they forget it. But it seems to be that we all have a task, and it doesn't need to be something big like being the president or being a CEO of a company or so. But it anything is good. Even people that are the beggars in the street or the homeless or the migrants, they are important as well. They have the source or the divine within them too. So they are massively important. Everyone is important. That is not what I say. That's what I understand from NDEs. They say this, that everyone is important. And a task can be also looking after children, taking care of people, elderly people, or setting up a company that provides income for many more people. Um, it could be anything. I don't know.
Gosh, wouldn't it be so much easier if we knew what our task was?
You know what would happen then? Everyone would rush to do their task because if they know what a nice thing it is on the other side, they will just want to finish it off as quick as possible and go back again. I think that's the reason maybe why NDEs can never know what their task is because they will just go about it very quickly and hope they will die as quickly as possible because NDEs have a kind of a homesickness. They have seen this wonderful environment with so much love and they can't find it here. The colors, the music, the scents, everything there is much nicer. It's more real than here. So why would you want to stay here? We want to go back again. That's the idea. But they also know that there is a reason for them being here. So they don't finish it up themselves.
See, that seems so strange to me because from everything that I've learned and understood, it's like we are very happy and grateful to be here, that there are a line of souls that are ready to get the opportunity to be in a body and experience
Yeah,
Earth. But then once we get the taste of back home on the other side, we want to stay there and
yeah,
not come back to Earth.
yeah. Yeah, that is a good point you make. That's a really good point. The point also is that what I understand from NDEers is when they most often they don't want to go back. Um, and then in some cases they are shown what their task is, and then they remember because the task was given to them or they assumed themselves voluntarily. Um, and they remember that they did that and then they say okay, let's finish it. I'll go back. So they do that and then when they come here they don't know what the task is. But so it means that we have voluntarily accepted something to do here, to be a part of what is playing out here, whatever it is and how it works, I don't know. And there are a very nice NDEs saying that kind of things. Maybe an example with Betty Guaidano. I don't know if you know her story, but she was an addict and she had her NDE as a consequence of an overdose. And you must know she was born in a dysfunctional family with a lot of poverty and um, uh, she had to do prostitution to get food and money for her drugs and there was incest in the family and all kinds of awful other things that she went through in life. And in her NDE saw she got this image that she was in a big supermarket with a big cart and she was going to select the experiences that she wanted to have on earth and she could choose anything. And she knew that she was going to be in a difficult situation, so she had to choose some difficulties. And there it was, the prostitution. Oh, let's put that in the cart. And oh, poverty, that sounds nice too. Let's put it in there as well. And incest somewhere in my family. Let's put it in the cart. So what's more to put there? That's how she says it herself, and that was what she had during her life. And once she saw that that was how it was, how before her birth she chose these things herself, it settled for her. It was like, oh, that's the reason why I had to go through all this. So, fine. But then she still didn't want to go back to her body. That's another thing, other part of the story. But she didn't want to go. She had to go back, and she is back. And it's a wonderful woman now.
Do we have free will?
Yes. Yeah, that's what I understand. Um, we do have free will, but sometimes people can see into the future and things play out as they see it. And that is maybe contradictory to having a free will. But a friend of mine in Amsterdam here who had an NDE herself, and she's also in my book, um, she says that you can see it from a different point of view. On the other side, there is no time, or time is different. You can look through time. Time is not an obstacle. Here it is. She says, if you can look through time on the other side, you can have a different point of view. Like just uh, giving you an image. If you if you walk here in Amsterdam, where I live, you cannot see at the same time Haarlem. Haarlem is a place 11 miles away from Amsterdam. Um, but if you take a different point of view, if you are in an airplane, you can see both cities at the same time. See, that's also how she says how it works with time. If we are here on Earth and we are at a crossroads, we need to choose whether or not we do this or we do that, and we have to decide tomorrow. From a different point of view, you can see both today and tomorrow. We can't do that here. So if you have the possibility to be in the other side, or to have a peek from the other side, or to get some information from the other side, then the other side could say, well, you're taking the left turn tomorrow. Or this person who is contemplating doing this or doing that will do this, because you, from that point of view, you can see it. But here you cannot. And so there is free will, but the result of the free will is already known, because you can have a different point of view. I hope it
Okay.
I makes it a little bit clear with the example of Haarlem and Amsterdam and flying, having a different point of view up in the sky.
Yes, that's a,
Out of the box, something like out of the box thinking. Yeah.
mhm. Yeah, it's a wonderful visual. So then the people that have an NDE, or the souls that do they decide before coming here that they're going to experience that?
I think so. Well, actually, I don't really know what. Um, like the example that I gave you with Betty Guadano, she chose the things she had to go through. But I can also see it from a different point of view, where um, again, this child needed to be born in this dysfunctional family, because there is this dysfunctional family, and they are going to have love together, and they are creating this child. So something needs to go in there, some some spirit needs to go in there. So it is all the lives that are of the people that are born, something needs to go in there in order to live that life. So that's how I see it, how I could see it. So it's both, you can choose, but if she chose not to be in that particular body, in this family, someone else had to go there. So because there is a baby there, this baby needs to be filled up with the spirit, either her spirit. If she chose not to do it, someone else's spirit has to do that. And again, what I think is that there is only one. So the oneness or the source or God will have to go in there.
But then I'm wondering, do they know that at some point during their human experience, they're going to have an NDE and that they're going to come back into their body? Or if that's something that is not predetermined?
Good question. Actually, I don't know the answer, but I could see it that way too. Because apparently there are people that have an NDE and changed their lives afterwards. So maybe that is also decided on beforehand, but I don't know.
Robert, you have written books, you give lectures on near-death experiences. What are your plans for the future? Do you have anything exciting coming up?
Oh, yes, tomorrow already. Well, my book here is Impressions of Near Death Experiences, and that is in English. And I live here in the Netherlands. I wrote this book in English, and it was published by the International Association for Near Death Studies. But tomorrow I'm going to discuss with a publisher in the Netherlands to have it in Dutch. So I'm very happy and grateful that I can do that, and that's my first task for tomorrow.
Oh, that is exciting.
And add a few new um, quotes that I came to see. There are so many wonderful NDEs out there, and it was difficult to select, but I tried to do my best, and I think I've given a good impression of what an NDE is in that book, and it's written actually by all those NDEers, not specifically by me.
Now, where can the listeners go to find your book or to learn more?
They can go to my website, bobcopus.com, and they can get the book at Amazon. And there is a form in my on my website, and if people have questions, they can always ask them to me, and I will always answer.
Great. I will have those links in the description. And I have two
Thank you.
final questions for you.
Okay.
First one is, what is your number one health tip? So that could be diet, mindset, physical, emotional, maybe spiritual, just the one piece of advice you would like everyone to know.
I think that your body and your mind will get better when you do nice things for others, when you have a positive attitude to others, when you smile to others, also when it's not needed. So, people you don't know, smile to them, say something nice to them in the street while you're waiting at the traffic light or whatever. Um, Things like that are important because it creates good ripples. They go out to others, but it's also good for yourself. On the contrary, if you spread hate, if you hate people, it makes you sour. It sours you yourself, but also your surroundings. And that's what I believe. So try to be nice. Love is important.
What a beautiful message.
Smile. Just it's so easy. It's the small things count. It's just say something nice to someone while waiting in the line at the cashier, or smile at someone, uh, someone you don't know. I mean, it's easy to smile at people you know.
This is very serendipitous, but I literally wrote a caption last night that's telling people to do that. So it's very
Wow.
now I have chills. It's very
Oh, wow. Great.
synchronicity that you are sharing that. So yeah, I love that. For your final question, you get to choose a number 1 through 100, and that will correlate to the question.
36.
36. Oh, what's your favorite holiday and why?
Place wise, like to go to the sun because I live in Amsterdam and it can be like today it's kind of cold. and I like the feeling of the sun on my skin. Yeah. And a nice place, a very nice place that I went once was Bali. Yeah.
I love Bali. That's funny that you interpreted holiday as vacation, which makes sense. That most of the world hears it that way. I thought of it as like Christmas or Thanksgiving.
Oh, we don't have Thanksgiving here. We do have Christmas. Yeah, no, I can enjoy a lovely meal with friends. And I try to do that as often as possible. That sitting together with people and exchanging thoughts and yeah, that's a wonderful thing to do.
Well, this has been very pleasant to speak with you, to learn from you, and I cannot wait to read your book as well. So thank you for coming on here, Robert, and for sharing everything. And if you enjoyed this conversation, make sure to check out the description, find out where to get Robert's book, visit his website, and thank you for coming on.
Oh, thank you, Jessica, for having me here on your show. It was wonderful. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. If you enjoyed that interview with Robert Coppes, remember to subscribe and come back next week for another episode.